Labas rytas. And dear guests, when I ask my Lithuanian colleagues what I have to speak for, they say me how we managed to win. Because the best military experts says Ukrainian, you have 72 hours to live. And after that, it's all. As you can see, today is 197th day about our fighting. So we have some secret to do this, and I want to deliver for us for our, what the secrets are. But before I want to say some words about why Oršos battle and have so big meaning for us, because it's absolutely same situation right now, like 500 years before. Russians think geopolitically. If we remind Putin's speech before war start, for one day before war start, he says nothing says about economical, and now nothing says about political. He says only about history. He's thinking history and geopolitically. And main design of this campaign, for my opinion, it was retaking of the whole Eastern Europe. Because Russians knows, like Zbigniew Brzezinski says, with Ukraine, Russia is a big empire. Without Ukraine, Russia is nothing. So the goal and design, it was to take Ukraine. After that, collect Ukrainian resources with Russians and attacked Eastern Europe. It's mean Baltic states, it's mean Poland, first of all of us. And he thinks he already take Belarus, but it's not. And we know the Belarusian people provide struggle against Putin regime and Lukashenko regime, as Madame Tikhanovskaya says us. So it's our general business to win the Putin. It's our general war against the Putin regime. It's not only Ukraine's beating Putin, it's our business at all. So why we win? Because Napoleon say, for win you need only two things. Good luck and stupid enemy. Russians is really stupid. They start this war for the 9 directions, which is absolutely stupid from military point of view. Because if you want win somebody, you need to concentrate your forces on 1 or 2 main directions. And they try to take all our citizens from the south, east, and north. Why they do this big mistake, the fate mistakes for them? Because they lose understanding of Ukrainian. Russians has all information about a country they need, really. Because it's a lot of people who are working in Ukraine 30 years against us in our territory, in our government, in our society. They know all, but they don't understand us. They have to understand 2 things before start the war against us. Ukrainians is the people who make two revolution. It's a revolution of in the 2004 and revolution in 2014. And if we rise against our government 2 times for 10, 20 years, what we have to do with Russians, they come here to make us slavery. And they have to see for the Donetsk airport defense to understand how Ukrainians will fight for their lands. They don't do this, they don't understand our spirit of this. And the main goal probably that Ukrainians is free people. The main idea of Ukrainian spirit is to be free. We understand this during this war. We don't understand it before this war starts. We have a great national discussion about what is the main national idea of Ukraine. And now we understand the main idea, we are the free people. And we're fighting for the free. In Ukraine, it's a lot of discussion about our future, what way we have to grow, what way we have to go in the future, but we completely understand. Russian speaking Ukrainian, Ukrainian speaking Ukrainian, we completely understand the main idea of Ukraine is freedom. And next side of this coin is our self-organization. It's one of the main side of our national characters. When this war started, a lot of people, we give to the people 100,000 automatic rifles for our territorial defense. And a lot of people start to shoot in Russian before any orders they have from military command, just like a self-organization, like we do at Maidan. And Russian was shocked about this because every window it was people who are looking for them and who shooting for them. They don't expect this sort of things. So they were shocked and surprised about this. And I just take. Sorry, because I a little bit worry because my English not so good. I have a long time have no any practice, so it's difficult to say, but I try. Okay. So these two things, these two sides of coins, it was most surprise for Russians when they come here, and they don't understand how Russian-speaking people could provide the best struggle against them. They think the Russian language, it means Russian identity. They think Russian identity means we meet them with the flowers, but it's not. The most struggle potentials has our regions and cities, which is the people speaking on Russian language. It's Mariupol, it's Kharkiv, it's Kherson, it's Dnipro, it's Donetsk, it's Lugansk, and something like that. So the biggest mistake, it's mistake about self-identification of our people. They lose this understanding. They think this Russian culture or Russian language, it's mean Russian союзники как бы. Russian alliance, it's not the same. I'm Russian-speaking Ukrainian, but I am the lieutenant colonel of Ukrainian army, and I fight with Russian a lot of years. They don't understand the political culture of Ukraine. And in this period, 500 years ago, this was absolutely the same situation. The languages no bit of difference. It's a lot of relationship between Kiev, Poland, Moscow, and like this. And they think they have a right to take this lands and this people because of Arestovyčiaus was the main dynasty, but it's not. 500 years ago, people choose European culture and European values. Same time, absolutely right now. And like 500 years ago, we collect our efforts to fight Moscow. It's the same situation right now, and I'm afraid it will be same situation for next 50 years at all, because Russians never change. Never change. These people never change. I'm like an intelligence officer. I'm used to work in Moscow. I work with Dugin, as you know, and I completely understand what they think and what they want to do. They never change, and our all general business to fight them at all. Still, the Putin regime fall down, and we liberate Russia firstly. Because for my big opinion, the most the main victims of Russia or Putin regime is the Russian people and people of the Belarus. This is a problem. As you know, we have a Legion of the Freedom with the Russian fighters in our Ukrainian army, and they fight very well. We have a Belarusian regiment volunteers with they fight extremely well on the most difficult point of the front line. And for me, it shows potential of the struggle inside of Belarus and inside Russia at all. And I hope in the future we all together have a free Russia and free Belarus for us, which is as our foreign minister, Mr. Kuleba, says 2 years ago on the Lublin meeting. He says for Belarusians, we waiting for us. You will be fourth side of Ukrainian, Lithuanian, and Poland Soyuz unit. That's all. If you want to ask me what I want to say, if you want some questions, for great pleasure, I answer for that. No. Yeah? Yes? Oh. I'll listen carefully.
So my name is Arestovyčiaus. I have 2 questions for you, sir. Now, Battle of Oršos is, as presented before, there was a great deal of deception in that battle. To defeat the enemy, the Russians were lured into ambush. Now, coming back to 24th of February this year, up until the hostilities, open hostilities in Ukraine started, Ukraine publicly for a long time distanced itself from the probability of open warfare, even denied it. Some allies were discontent about this. Could you shed us some light why that happened? Was that part of the deception also just to prepare for the war? And if so, if you knew about what was coming, why did the Russians then capture Hostomel airport, Kherson? So that's question number 1. And the question number 1 is more simple. Oršos battle was won, as you know, 508 years ago, but the war of 1512, 1522, 500 years ago, it was not won by Lithuania, as was again presented. Lithuania did survive, but it lost Smolensk, the most important strategic key city in the West. There were reasons for that, many reasons as we discussed. Attrition, economic, military support reasons, there was a fatigue, there were treasons. Some of those you may recognize even today in Ukraine, perhaps. But the fighting was done because it was not possible to continue fighting. So despite recent counteroffensive in Kherson, in Kharkiv regions, despite what the President Zelensky is saying about that you need to fight on and defeat the enemy and take back all the territory that is occupied by the enemy, what is the basis for your optimism that you actually can do that and that you can have the victory that you wish, but not the same results that we've seen 500 years ago with the war against Moscow, with the Lithuanian war against Moscow, when we had to have the peace? We won the battle, but we did not win the war.
Okay, I'm afraid it's bigger than my vocabulary, but I try to explain. It's a different discipline in the intelligence to understand the ability of the enemy and understand to what the enemy want to do. And I could give you example, the Yom Kippur War in the 1933, when the same people who before 60 years win this 6 days war, is absolutely the same situation, make a great mistake about what the enemy want to do. They know ability, but don't understand what the enemy want to do. And do we make this mistake? I don't know. Because our military intelligence, Mr. Budanov, as you can see, and the open sources, completely understand what we have to do. We have a big president who had a big briefing before the war started, about 2 or 3 days. And it was the different scenarios of the Russians invasions. And Mr. Budanov says completely like this happen, absolutely, for the meters and for the seconds. But other services, secret services, has another thinking about this. So it was difficult to make one decision to understand what the Russians have to do. From military point of view, to offensive on the Kiev, it's absolutely stupid things, as we can see, because they lose this operation for the one month. They don't have enough forces, even for taking Bravary, which is a little town near the Kiev, but they try to want Kiev. It's very stupid, and our military says it's absolutely completely stupid. They don't do this. They just want to make us lie, обмануть. To make disinformation about Kievan operation, because it's a stupid things. But they try, they do. And they do very, very strange things for me. When they take in the Gostomel airport, next wave have to be just on the Pechersk, which is the government region inside of the Kiev. And they want to take the office of the president. And when we found on the killing Russian senior officers, we find the plans, which is mean they have to put a duty on the office of the president, of the government, of the National Bank, of the Verkhovna Rada Ukraina at the 8 o'clock on the 24th. Same evening, which is advised and starts, they want to produce some military duties and some people on the duty on our main buildings on our country. And ваш покорный слуга have to be shooted like a president, like another people. And but when they come, it's a lot of forest. It's roads, which is one-way roads, very narrow, and thousands of Russians stay these roads with the columns, which is during 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, and our artillery, our aviation, and our partisans and territorial defense не могли промахнуться даже когда стреляли. Couldn't miss when they shooting, because it's a lot of Russians. It was impossible to shoot, and we strike them thousands by thousands, which is доказывает как, which is proof that this operation was absolutely stupid. That's why. About Kherson, before the war started, about 1 month before, it was a great military exercise, which командно-штабные, which is on the maps, you know, with the senior officers. President was ahead, and we collect all our attention about Kherson region, because we completely understand that means it's very great dangerous. The Russians came to оперативный простор, как будет for absolute space, so operative space immediately, and we provide a lot of measures to save Kherson regions, but it was a lot of treaty. As you know, the advisor of the head of the security service of Ukraine in the Kherson district was a traitor. It was straight in some local administrations, and now we provide investigation about how it could be. But in Kherson, we have a heavy fighting. The battalion of our Marines on the Chongar Peninsula died at all. It's 90% of killing and actions. They have 20 times more enemy against, never give up. They fighting for 90 hours and dying at all. We have a hero of the Ukraine, it's Marines, which is young man, and he blew up the strategical breach with itself. And our 59 mechanized brigade have 4 days of the heavy fighting against 22 Russians armored corps and extra 2 armies, field armies, 1 brigade. They fight for Antonovsky Breach, which is the main breach in Kherson. We now destroyed them by HIMARS for 3 days. It was a heavy fighting. We don't give up Kherson region so lightly as you can imagine. But we still in investigations, and we make all decisions about this. We prefer this war. President itself give a lot of attention for the defense of the south of Ukraine. But it was some factors which is bring what we have right now. So, but we're retaking them. For 1 or 2 months, I think we will see we're taking Kherson back. Thank you. Yes, of course.
Collapse of Putin regime. So as if there was some will that after the collapse of Putin regime, you could bring a change to Russian society. Could you elaborate a bit more about that?
Yes, of course. I believe in Russian society because I myself looking for Legion of the Freedom of the Russia, which has meant a lot of Russians militaries came in this unit in our army. And some Russians came from Russia here for the 3 or 2 borders, which is hideaway. They came here, they provide a very тщательный отбор. We provide a very accurate selection for them, and there's very motivated people. They ask us to bring them on the most difficult points of the front line to fight. And they very, very motivated in the training and in the fighting. It's a great potential for Russians. And we have in the Russians partisans which is fire at FSB cars and completion centers and the recruiting centers. And they fight in trains, they destroy railways, something like this. Russia has a great potential to rise against Putin regime, same like Russia. And we work with Russian opposition. We understand that Russia has a great democracy traditions, which is we can see from the 1991 from 1993. Problem not in Russian people. Problem is in Russian power, in Russian government, because all of times they think in like empire, and again and again they try to make same things like 500 years ago. When the Yeltsin came, and we all think in the Yeltsin as a face liberation, liberal Russia, they start to fight in Russian parliament. They shoot in Russian parliament and start to first Crimean War, which is mean so-called Mishkovshina, upon the Yuri Mishkov, which is the first president of independent Crimea, which is from 1993 for 1996. Our first National Guard was created for fighting in Crimea. It was 3 years of very difficult struggle. And this struggle came to, we mined warships for each other in the Black Sea. And there was a lot of fightings in the street by Russian soldiers and Ukrainian soldiers. After that we have Tuzla incident, which is military incident completely. And we see the Russian, even this liberal, they still empire. So we have to, for my opinion, we have 2 ways to divide Russian from the different national countries, or give them one attempt to be liberated after the Putin regime. If they don't, we have to divide them, because we never be in security here in Eastern Europe. They tried to manage. Как рычаг будет? Рычаг. Tool. They tried to manage like a tool by Eastern Europe and by us, by Belarus, by Poland, by Baltic states. When they fight against America, they use Europe like a tool. When they fight against Europe, they use Eastern Europe like a tool. When they fight Eastern Europe, they want to use Ukraine like a tool. It's the same, absolutely same situation like Oršos battle. And if we decide, we, collective West, this NATO, European Union, Eastern Europe, if we decide to give one attempt for the Russians, it's have to be just one attempt after the Putin regimes fall down. If they do not pass this exam, we have to divide Russia because they will do same things. Like Aristotle says, if we have form and formal reason, they will repeat again and again. We have the situation with Russians. But I think, for my opinion, to give one chance for Russian oppositions and for Russian free people and Belarusian people to make one attempt for rechange Russia to a liberal country. Just one attempt. If not, we have to divide them at all. Just divide. And main problem for Russia and for us, it's denuclearization of Russia. The main conditions after we win in this war, from the collective West to Russia, you have two denuclearizations. Without this, it could be nothing for us. Because we go less Russian armed forces. They lost in Ukraine about third potential. From weaponry and technical, they lost 4 field armies. From 10 they have at all. But if we don't denuclearizate them, it's same situation, repeat about 10 or 15 years. Like the head of the NATO says day before yesterday. It's the same things like as me says. Without denuclearization, we have repeating situation. And Poland government says yes. Poland could have the Russian threat grows about 10 or 15 years. Because if we win this war and Putin's regime change, it's with only 2 ways. Russian still try to free from sanctions, and we have very accuracy to see what they have to do. If they make main efforts on the increase the military power, again, it's one signal for us. They still want to be empire. For Ukrainians, it's absolutely, and for all of us, it's absolutely no difference if with us fight liberal empire or authoritarian empire, because liberal empire could be more effectively than authoritarian empire, because it's some parliamentarism, more ставка на более умных людей, да, там на технологии, науки, как-то так. They made a bit on the more clever people, more bravery people, on the science, on the deal with the West. And there's a main problem. Elizabeth Truss, a new Prime Minister of Great Britain, she says about in April, she says the main mistake of the collective West for Iranian, for China, and for Russian was we believe that geoeconomics will have to change geopolitics. No, they take sanctions, they take economy, they take programs of the support, and rechanges on the West, on all of us. This is the main problem. China is maybe the most economic power, or second economic power in the world, but it's still Marxist country, and they still do what they do. With Taiwan, with another things, they support Russia. And same situation with Iran and with the nuclear program of Iran, same situation with Russia. For my opinion, I think we have to give them one more chance to be liberate empire, or liberate country or state. If not, we have to change them. Denuclearizate, demilitarizate, and divide. Now, Ukrainian army, with your support, we demilitarize them well, but we have to think to see what they have to do after the Putin fall down. It was very difficult to believe them, but I want to give them one chance. For people who fight right now in Russia and Belarus against Lukashenko and Putin.
Thank you, Mr. Arestovyčius. I'm Vaidotas Marinonis, retired colonel, representing Association of Colonels. First question is, what are your expectations from today's meeting in Ramstein? Just
in where?
At Ramstein meeting.
Oh.
Yeah. And another question is, what kind of definition, short definition of victory you could advise for the West and for us, so in order for us to better understand what we strive to achieve?
The second question is very simply, just give us a weapon and defeat Russians. It's not a problem for us. But the West weapon is the main problem here, because we have almost 1,500 kilometers internal front line in Ukraine. And we have Belarusian border, Russian border, which is almost 300 kilometers, Black Sea, and Transnistria. Ukrainian territory from 5 parts, from 6, it's a border with Russia, Russian forces. And it's a big problem. Now we have 1 million people under the rifle, but only 300 people which is fighting, 100,000 people which is fighting, because another people taking the borders. It's about 6,000 kilometers. And we need a lot of weapon, because you give us, and West give us 5 millimeter howitzers. It's about 200 units. Russians still have 152 millimeter caliber, 1,300 against us. We understand the artillery, Western artillery more accuracy, and we have great field intelligence, reconnaissance, but it is still a little bit difficult for us to fight them with this comparison of quantity of the heavy weapons. Now we have 25 HIMARS and M270 systems, but we need twice. For win Russia is just one condition. Twice this heavy weapon you give us, and that's enough for us and for you. We win this war. Yesterday, we break down the front line in the Kharkiv districts and move just 40 kilometers for one day. In the 50 kilometers gain, our gains, we need just weapon, not more. Just twice this weapon the Western give us. And I hope in Ramstein today, it will be something about this, about twice, or increase the quantity of the weapons we need. It could be air defense and could be planes. We need planes. We have very successful experience to use anti-radar rockets, which is harm, yes, from our planes. And for 1 week, we destroy 6 S-300 systems, air defense system from Russia in the Kherson region. We need more accuracy, more, and probably it have to be twice of the heavy weapon and high accuracy weapon for us. It's enough for us. We win this war, and winning of this war, it will be we back to our borders in the state of the August of the 1991. Last social poll says about 95% of Ukrainians, it's been governments, military, and people, want to win Russia by military way and take in Crimea and Donbass back, all of our country. Сомневаться как будет. Nobody have doubts about this. We just win, we create motivation, and all we need is just twice the weapon. It's enough for us.
Hello, I'm Viktor Denisenko from Military Academy of Lithuania, and I want to back to your idea about this one attempt to Russia have democratization after Putin. Do you have ideas how to control this attempt? Because in 1991, 1993, Russia have this possibility to go through a way of democratization, but we could see a result. Thank you.
Thank you for спасибо за доверие, for the trust. But it's not my level. But if we're speaking about this, what I have to do, I say for Russian opposition, okay, we will support you. But main condition is demilitarization and denuclearization after you win with our support. We have to start from this. Now to make this, to provide this condition after they win, before they win. And we have some security agreements, which is missile treaty, nuclear treaty, which we can опереться, based on them, and maybe make it wide and provide this. We have the same experience for Kazakhstan and Ukraine when we отдавать. When we give up our nuclear weapon, we have NATO and Alliance and collective West have this sort of weapon. We could provide this in Ukraine. And the main problem in Russian nuclear potential is they grown be oldest every day. As you know, nuclear weapon is not so easy. Just take and just hold. For example, they have 156 or 68 Satana system rockets, which is provided by Ukrainian specialists. Russians do not have this sort of specialists. They collect some specialists from Ukraine before the war starts, but it's a great problem for us. And every of this rocket and missile, it's about 20 Chernobyl. And nuclear weapon излучает lights. Nuclear weapon lights radiation, and they go down for every month and for every year. For Russians, it's a big problem. Really big problem. It was one of our argument when they tried to take Crimea and start the war on Donbass. We say it's nothing for we cut the government agreement for makes the support for this sort of nuclear missiles, and technically, after the Putin regime will fall down. And Russia go to social, economical, and political collapse, it was a great problem, great technical problem, to take a nuclear weapon safely. And it is a gate for us. We can say, if you want, you don't have 40 Chernobyl on your land, just give us possibility to help you with this nuclear weapon. And this helpness have to be to collect this from there and destroy. Still, Russia has a nuclear umbrella, is with the same situation with Orša. New Orša, new Bucha, new Kherson. Every new cycle of the history.
Ladies and gentlemen, we know that you have a lot of questions, but keep those questions for the second part of this conference. It's a panel discussion, so keep those questions. And thank you, Mr. Arestovyich. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your patience for my English. Thank you. Thank you too.